This is J. Krishnamurti's fifth discussion with teachers in Saanen, 1967.
We were considering yesterday what is the basic reason why each one right throughout the world compares himself with something else, compares his own intelligence with another intelligence, his own capacity with another's capacity. Why? We are caught in this cycle, in this trap. That most of us have never even questioned. For most of us, it is the natural, normal way of life. And when we are questioned, when we ask ourselves why, we have no capacity or deep, vital interest to find out why we do this at all. And I think it's important to go into it. If we are to bring about a different kind of human being, who is not caught in this comparative spirit, and therefore with it goes hatred, jealousy, envy, fear, and all the rest of the things that human beings are trapped in. If I really want to live at peace, totally, I must have no sense of trying to be better than somebody else, trying to be more clever, more intelligent, this incessant measurement which breeds such antagonism. So we should go into this rather deeply. And most of us are inclined to think and to function mechanically. We have lived in this world for centuries in this comparative spirit. Why not go on with it? It has become a habit, a routine, an accepted norm of life. And to change it is not only requires a considerable intelligence and inquiry, but also one has to be very much aware of all the slogans that we accept and repeat over and over again, which is a mechanical way of living. And to escape from this mechanical life, we revolt, take to drugs, become this or that. Again, a very, very superficial existence, which in turn becomes mechanical. So, I feel this is rather an important question. Why human beings have accepted as a way of life, as a way of action, this measurement, this comparison with another. Shall we go into it? How in a school can this be completely avoided? So that one cuts at the very root of antagonism. You may be very clever, very intelligent, nice looking, and I may not. And if I try to be like you, I've already cultivated the spirit of antagonism. I've already brought into being within myself the seeds of hatred. And how can a group of teachers not only see the importance of this, but also instruct, inform the student to be entirely different? Let's go into it. So, let's begin. Don't you want to know, as a human being, and not only as an educator, why you or I have this yard, this measure of comparing oneself with another? Why? The last few times that we've asked, we have given a lot of explanations because we are dissatisfied, because we are afraid if we did not measure, compare ourselves with another, we would stagnate, we would become more dull. We are afraid to face what is. We feel all progress, technological or psychological, lies through comparison. And so on and on. We have given explanations. But if we could, for the moment, put aside all explanations and try to find out for ourselves deeply why this self-improvement through comparison comes into being. What is the deep cause of it? And do I know that I am dull because you are clever? You're bright, you're alert. You understand my question? Do I know I am immoral because you are moral? Do I know I am hungry because you are well fed? Do I know I am stupid because you are brilliant?
Sometimes,
Yes?
yes.
Wait. I know this. Do I know hunger because I was hungry yesterday? I'm hungry today, now. And do I know it because I had that experience yesterday? So it brings into being a very vital question. How do I know? I don't know if you've... How do I know, apart from technical knowledge, anything about myself? When I say I know, well, that word knowing means what? I know. What do I know? I know what has been, not what is actually taking place. What is actually taking place is the active present, which I cannot know as it is happening. It is only after it has happened I know. Please, it's very important to understand this. I say I know my wife, husband, friend. That is, I knew him as he was yesterday. But between yesterday and today, he might have totally changed. So I really don't know him. So, do I know? You understand? Know in the sense totally acquainted with something that is living. Can I use that word know with regard to anything that's living? Please, this is very important to find out. Or do I know something which is already gone, dead, past? Huh? So when I say, I know I am dull, because you are bright, through comparison, what has taken place? Through comparison, I see that you are brighter, more clever, more intelligent, nicer looking, taller, whatever it is. And in comparison, I say, I know I am dull. Right? Do I know anything through comparison? Psychologically. What do I know when I say, I am dull compared to you? What do I know? Compared to you, I am dull. Right? Because you are richer, you are this, you are that. So what do I know? Do I know my poverty because you are rich? Do I know my insufficiency because I see others who are sufficient to themselves? And when I use that word, I know I am insufficient. What do I know? Huh? Ah, pardon. Have I not, by comparison, follow this little bit, have I not by comparison, when I say I know I am dull, this comparative measurement has made me into a static entity. Ah, yes, I get it. Have you got it? I am a living thing and so are you. You are a living entity, so am I. And when I compare myself with you who are more and I am less, I have reduced this living entity into something already past. I don't know if you're capturing it, if you're getting this. This comparing has made me a living thing into a dull thing. Voila. And if I am a living thing, and you are also, there is no need for comparison at all. Two living things don't compare. Right? I don't know if you're watching this. I'm alive, full of vitality, energy, affection, alive. And you're also, in your own way. It is only when I am not alive that I compare. Then I say I am dull compared to you. So, throughout my being, if I am completely alive, then comparison has no meaning whatsoever. It is only when I am dealing with something that is dead and compare that state of mind which is dead with yours, which is also dead, because you live in comparison, then that living thing becomes static. I don't know if you're following this. Am I talking sense or nonsense?
So you say there is no difference between comparison?
No, sir. No, sir. I say to myself, I am rather shallow entity, superficial entity, and I must be deeper. You understand? I am shallow and I must become deep. How do I know what is deep? And how do I know what is shallow? I wonder if you're meeting all this. You all look rather puzzled. Shall I give it up and approach it differently? Now you ask yourself, please. I won't pursue that because you may not. Deep down, why do you compare yourself with another? I do yoga. You know what that is? Not gymnastics. And somebody teaches me, who is far better than I am. Am I competing with him as to be as good as him? Or I am doing yoga. You following? I am doing it, not comparing myself with him. I don't know if you're following all this. In the very doing of it, I am learning. Not I am learning more. Huh? So, does learning imply comparison? I'm learning Italian. And you know it, you are an Italian. I'm learning. And in that learning, is there any spirit of competing, comparing myself with you? Who is, huh? You may learn much faster than I. But than me. But when I compare myself with you in my learning, I have ceased to learn the language for its own sake. I don't know if you follow all this. So in the same way I'm asking myself, after putting all these things, exposing myself to all that, I say, why am I basically competing? Comparing, which is a form of competition, of course. Why? I wish you would. Come on, madam.
Parents have told us to
Oh yes, that's, please, we have gone through all that. Parents have told you, society has told you, environment encourages you, every magazine say, look, you're not so beautiful as the magazine says you should be, and so on and on and on. This soap is better than that soap, this too. You follow? But if you asked yourself, I wish you would, why you compare yourself with something psychologically and also technologically also, that we can go into that, it's quite interesting. Why do you do it? Don't give explanations. You have given bushelful. Why? But madam, that's just an explanation which we have. I don't want explanations. I don't want, it's like saying, yes, I don't want to be left behind, therefore I compete. Why not be left behind? You are left behind anyhow.
I see I don't have the energy to deal with what's happening now, and I find myself comparing. I don't have the vitality to deal with what's happening, and so my mind starts working and comparing.
Come on, madam.
Quite how to say, it does not arise by itself. It is a sort of reaction to something.
Yeah, all right, it's a reaction to something. What is that something? Huh?
Whatever is pleasant.
Oh, no. Whatever is pleasant, the questioner says.
So it seems that the I which asks itself why you are compared is only created by comparison. It's only there because of the comparison. The question doesn't seem to answer.
It's only by comparison the I exists. Have you ever tried not to compare yourself with anything? Have you tried it? Since the last 2 days we've been talking about it. Have you? Yes, sir. What has been the result?
The desire to know leads to comparison. In the state of not knowing, there is this.
Ah, no, my question was entirely different, sir. Have you tried not to compare yourself psychologically with anything? Then what takes place? Huh? You're more?
More presence.
More presence. You are what you are. These are all useful. Come on.
No conflict.
No conflicts.
You only compare when you don't love what you do.
You only compare when you don't love what you do.
The moment the comparing stops,
My question, sir, was entirely different. Have you tried not to compare yourself with anything? Compare yourself with a man who has more power, more importance. However that the circle of importance may be, it may be among three friends or a committee in which somebody is more power than yourself and you're not comparing with that person, or with some ideal, not comparing at all. Have you tried it?
You can't, because the I is comparison.
Not comparing with what has been or with what will be. No comparison at all. You haven't done it. Come on, madam. J'entends rien. I'm afraid I can't hear what you say. What? On est complètement seul. I beg your pardon. One is completely alone. It just shows you haven't tried it. Full stop. I'm not your teacher. I'm just saying, after 2 days of talking about comparison, one must either have been aware that one compares and see what happens if you don't compare at all. Actually, what happens? First, don't you find that's a tremendous relief, a burden off your shoulders, not to compare at all?
Agitation disappears.
You see? Agitation disappears. I'm saying, don't you find when you don't compare yourself with anybody psychologically that you feel tremendously free, don't you? Huh? You've been carrying a burden, and you put it down. And you feel, by joy, I'm very light. No? I should have thought that would be the first normal reaction. Suddenly, you have put down all the weight of comparison. So there is first freedom from the burden which you have carried uselessly. Now, proceed from there. You see, I'm doing all the work, you are just listening. I'm free. from something that has been a tremendous struggle. Then with that freedom, what comes next?
I become more aware of myself. I have to come to it.
I have become more and more aware of myself. No, sir. Please, sir, have you put down the burden? Trying to serve with my grandmother. There is no question of trying to. Either you do it or don't do it. Full stop. It's only the bourgeois mind that says, I'm trying to do my best. So, if you have done it, actually say, I really am no longer comparing, which is an enormous work, you understand, sir? It isn't just not to compare myself with another who is more beautiful, who is taller, more intelligent, not to compare with something that has been a remembrance, which casts shadow on today. Not to compare, measure what I was, what I am. And what I am to what I will be. Not to compare how much I know and how much more you know, and I must get more. I know I am shallow-minded and narrow, bourgeois, petty, this sordid entity with tremendous lot of ideas, opinions, judgments. And there you are none of those things. It is not so easy not to compare. Because I am inferior and you are superior. And people have written how the inferior people who feel inferior do much more work than those who feel superior. And so on and on and on. Compare myself with a saint, with a Buddha, with a Christ, and up the ladder and down the ladder. Never to compare. And as a teacher, as a group of teachers, how are we going to convey this extraordinary freedom and therefore brings extraordinary serenity? You understand? Not what I am. I realize what I am, I am satisfied with it, or I try to change it. Because I have dropped comparison, this movement of change has come to an end. I don't think you understand it. Huh? You understand, sir? I change. Because I have a pattern or an image which is superior. And I'm struggling, doing my best to transform myself according to that image. Which is still a measurement. You understand all this? So one go ask much deeper question. Is there change at all when there is no comparison? And the radical mutation takes place only when there is no comparison. Not when I change according to a pattern. Well, come on, leave that. So, how am I, as a teacher, going to convey this feeling, this extraordinary freedom from this sense of no measurement, no comparison, and therefore no hate? How am I going to tell him? Huh? You can't? Huh?
It seems to me that if someone has it, that's what makes me tell it. Because the child can feel it.
If someone has it,
He doesn't have to tell about it, the child can feel it.
oh no, I want to tell, that's not good enough. Why haven't you got it? You see? Why haven't you, who have listened to, you are a teacher and I'm a teacher, why haven't you and I've got it? What's the matter with us? Because you see, out of this grows hatred, right? Out of this grows antagonism, enmity, jealousy. Not only between nations, groups, and all the rest of it, but between individuals, human beings. And I must convey it, not only climatically in the atmosphere to the child, but also verbally. I must point, I must do something. I can't just say, the child will feel it. He may not.
We asked the child exactly what you just asked. Why don't we have it?
Yes, sir, that's what I want to know, why you haven't got it. You know, children are fairly bright. They say, sir, you're talking about non-comparison. Have you really stopped comparing? He'll ask you, obviously. And what will you answer? Become superior and say, I'll tell you another time, or you can't possibly, you're very rude. Then you will know instinctively that you haven't got it, full stop. Now, let's proceed the other way around. Why haven't you got it as a teacher in the school that we want to form, which we are going to form, which is being formed? As a teacher, why haven't you got this thing? I'm not bullying you, please, you understand? Because unless we build something new in the school, then it's not worth starting the school. There are thousands of schools turning out thousands of mechanical human beings. And in this school, we want to prevent antagonism, hatred. Between students, between nations, and all the rest of it. So, as a teacher, I'm asking myself, with the other teachers, why is it that I cannot stop comparing? With the headmaster or the principal who has got more money, saying, I wish I had an opportunity, I could do much better than he does, and so on and on and on. Why haven't I, as a teacher here in this school, why is it that I cannot grasp it instantly and be out of it? One can give great many explanations why. First, one is not basically interested in it. Second, we haven't the energy to face this fact. Third, it may not be profitable at all. I'm married, I have children, and good Lord, to think along these lines may dislodge me completely. This may produce a revolution. And I can't afford it. I want security. Or I say to myself, it's much too complicated. For goodness sake, can't you put it all in a nutshell, in a little pill, and let me swallow it and be automatically non-comparative? So we can give dozen explanations. But the fact at the end of this explanation is, I am still where I started. And what am I to do? One can't be bullied into this, can one? And one can't say, well, I'll come to this school because it's trying something new, and perhaps it might produce something. Or, if you come with that spirit, the school will be a flop. So, there it is, up to you, sirs.
So when I try to tackle the problem, my mind starts functioning, and then it slots things in, and it seems to come to a conclusion which seems to be okay, and I realise that I don't really understand, and so I think I'll try to do it and without thinking, but then a dead state comes into being. To get beyond it.
I think about this, and I come to a conclusion, and I see how futile those conclusions are, but I can't go beyond it. I am afraid I can't hear. Somebody who is near here said, please convey to us.
I feel deeper about humanity and cannot. I feel it or I don't feel it. That will change me.
What, sir?
I feel deeply about humanity. That will help me. Or I don't. That will help me change.
Unless I feel deep enough,
Ah,
there must be a change.
I see, I've got it. Unless I feel deeply about humanity, I can't do anything. Then you can't do anything, full stop. All right. Unless one feels very deeply about humanity, you can't do anything.
Unless I feel that there won't be a change.
Unless I feel that there won't be a change. Now what is going to make you feel it? Fire under you? A bomb? Atomic bomb? What is going to make us feel anything? Probably we're also terribly intellectual, verbal rather, and we lost all feelings about anything. Of course we must have lost it, because a mother who is willing to send her son to be killed in Vietnam or in some other place obviously has no feeling. And how is anybody going to help her to have any feeling about her own child? For God's sake. I think probably we are mesmerized by the politician, by the newspapers, by the leaders, spiritual or otherwise. Because otherwise we won't talk like this. You understand, sir? If you had a son as an American, and that son is going to be conscripted or drafted, what are you going to do? Huh? Support him if he doesn't want to go to war, doesn't want to be conscripted, drafted. Huh?
Speak with him about it.
Speak with him about it. He already doesn't want to go. This is quite funny. What a tragedy it all is, isn't it?
I will show him what is behind it, and I will stay all the time with it. But he has to see the consequences.
What, sir?
He has to see the consequences.
But he has seen the
And I will
consequences.
stay with him all the
And you can't.
Why not?
He will be taken to prison, taken to the army.
And I will be with him too. Whatever I can do.
That means what, sir?
I have to be free.
Look, sir, what happens in the army when he's taken over? He's brainwashed. Day after day, day after day. Months. Trained to kill and to defend himself. And he has no, poor fellow, he has no ghost of a chance. Moment you are put one foot into it, you're caught. And he knows this. Modern youth know all about this, the horror of it. And as a parent, what are you going to do? Support him to the very end? Huh? Which means what? Probably we are Europeans, not in that predicament for the time being. Or we have children who are girls, and thank God. But when one has a son who is drafted and hits it positively, what is one going to do? Huh? Come on. I'm afraid the sun god can't go to the other country. He's caught. No, sir, you're not. You're playing with words. So the point is, sirs, unless you feel strongly about all this, about war, not cultivating hatred, antagonism, enmity in anyone, you have to face these problems. As comparison, war, you have to face it, you have to feel strongly about it. And nobody is going to make you feel strongly. On the contrary, they'll beat the drums. They'll do propaganda to smother your feelings. Now, and who is going to make you feel? Nobody, obviously. If they helped you to make you feel, then you are dependent and you don't feel for yourself the horror of all this modern world. What's that?
Together we will inquire into the purpose of existence.
Together we will inquire into the purpose of existence. We're not concerned with that, sir, now. That just its theory. Here is the purpose of existence. We are examining it. Which is whether one can be free from this monstrous, crooked world. So we come to a fact that we really, very few of us, basically deeply feel about anything. We feel only deeply when it concerns us, not even my son. If we really felt for my son, for your son, would stop wars. But apparently we don't. And here is a problem. In a school of this kind, to prevent antagonism between the boys and girls, and antagonism between the staff members and their relationship with the children, never to create antagonism. So that's a marvelous thing if you can work it out. And we will. We will with those teachers who are really going to come together to create this school. We'll work it out in detail. If this is not worked out, we better not start a school. Because if we do start a school without this real understanding of all this, it'll be another shoddy little school. It's 11:30. Do we want to go on any further this morning? Problem of what?
Indifference.
Problem of indifference. Why are we so indifferent to everything? Is that it? Why, madam? Why? Why are you or somebody else or I? Why are we indifferent? One of the basic reasons for this terrible indifference, which is paralysing, is our self-centred activity. Right? We are only concerned with ourselves, with our progress, with our money, with our gods, you know. Me first.
We're not even consumed with ourselves.
I am afraid, look, we are. You may not think so, but we are. Deprive you of any of your pleasure, any of your pleasure, whether cigarette, sex, anything pleasurable, you will soon find out how you will battle again. We are made indifferent because we have become mechanical. Because we accept slogans. Because we have followed leaders. I can give you a dozen reasons why we have become indifferent. And after these explanations, are you any more non-indifferent?
Now, all those explanations, resistance against what is, but then in those explanations we do not live with what is?
No, sir, no, sir. So why do we want explanations? You understand, sir? Here, the lady asked, why are we so indifferent? And I gave half a dozen explanations. Are you satisfied with explanations? Obviously not. Like a hungry man, to him you give a lot of explanations about the beauty of food, the good, nourishing, tasting food. And he says, all right, very nice, but give it to me. And if we are indifferent, explanations don't satisfy, then what will make me, who am indifferent, change? More wars, more calamities, more sorrows. God. That's why, sir, if I am indifferent, I live with that indifference. I look at it. I want to know why. I won't accept this dead state. I want to know. I want to break through it. I can't break through it with dozen explanations. Words are not the thing. And we don't want to live with what is. I think we better stop this morning, though it's rather short hour. We'll continue tomorrow.